How's it going, y'all? Megan here with Honey Badger Cosplay, and today I want to talk about some of the most common myths that I hear about cosplay. So let's get started. Alright, so jumping right into it, one of the most common myths that I hear all the time is that you must look like the character that you are cosplaying. I have some beef with this, whether it be you're not the right size, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too short, you're too tall, or you're the wrong race to cosplay a specific character. There are a lot of things that people cannot control, right? So, me, for example, I am very, very short. I am like 5 foot nothing. While I try to look as close to the reference material as possible, that's a personal preference. And I don't put that personal preference on anyone else because at the end of the day, what I find most enjoyable is actually the building process of the costume itself.
Actually, I don't agree with that, and you has to look like the character you're trying to cosplay.
A fair number of characters are Japanese. They may not have typical Japanese traits, whether they have blonde hair and yellow eyes. That is not something that you're going to find naturally. Examples for Demon Slayer characters, the height to weight ratio for most of them is very small and very lightweight. So I don't know very many people who would be able to fit those standards. It does not allow for the level of inclusiveness that the cosplay community really should strive for. Cosplay is for everyone. The next most common myth that I hear is that you actually have to make your cosplay, meaning that you can't buy your cosplay from a store or have someone else make it for you. I just want to read some definitions for you guys, just in case there is any confusion or anybody wants to try and debate me. According to the Oxford Dictionary, the definition of cosplay is the practice of dressing up as a character from a movie, a book, or video game. Another definition is the hobby of dressing up and pretending to be a character from a movie, TV show, comic book, etc. That's from Cambridge. Notice that none of those said that you had to make your costume by hand. And the root of the word cosplay is actually a conjugation of two words, costume and play. And that's all you need to cosplay, really, is a costume of a character, preferably one that you enjoy, but that's not even required. Notice there's nothing in the definition that says that you have to have been a fan of the series right from the very beginning and that you have to make everything by hand. The next one is that you have to be in character for the entire convention or that you only wear your cosplay once. It's not a job unless you are getting paid to be at a booth for promotional material. There is no requirement for you to be down at a convention for a certain amount of time. I am not going to be in character the whole convention. As a matter of fact, most of the time, I'm only going to be in character when it matters. So I'm talking photos or on stage for a masquerade. I'm typically in heels, and I don't know about you guys, but I have a really hard time being in heels for like 12 hours a day. These costumes can be big, they can be bulky, they can be uncomfortable, and sometimes they can be very fragile. So if there are specific parts that I have on my costume that I'm worried that might get bumped or broken at a con, I am not going to risk breaking it before a cosplay competition. I'd rather be on my A game actually for the masquerade and the walk-on, so I am not going to be in that thing all day. And some of those layers can get pretty hot. I like to take a lot of rests, and sometimes I'll actually delay going to the convention so I get a little more sleep, a little more time out of the costume so I can be comfortable and enjoy the convention. And the whole deal about wearing your cosplay once, I honestly, cosplay is a lot of work. I wear my stuff until it breaks and is not fixable or it's no longer cost effective to be fixable. I do not recommend only wearing your cosplay once, and that's even if you buy your costume. I'm not saying that you have to, wear it until it literally falls apart on the convention floor, but to the idea of spending all that time and energy on, especially if you make your cosplay, to only wear it once, quite honestly, is pretty wasteful. I don't think that should be a thing. This next one, you're too old to cosplay. All right, full disclosure, I'm 33 and I know most of my cosplay friends are typically late 20s, early 30s. The average age of an anime watcher is 24. All right, so I know everybody is thinking about cosplay being like, oh, something you do in high school. Some statistics to throw at you guys. 12% to be baby boomers, 21% were Gen X, 42% were millennials, and 25% was Gen Z. Something to keep in mind is a lot of the, famous cosplayers are people who have really made cosplay a career and have been founders of cosplay and shaped this community and kind of where it's gone. Perfect example, Kamui, she's 38, born in 1986. Yaya Han, she's 44, born in 1980, like the godmother of cosplay here in the States, it seems. So why would you even want to gatekeep to be able to see all of these amazing cosplays just because there's some arbitrary age that somebody decided, oh, sorry, you're old and you can't have fun anymore? Honestly, cosplay should be fun, and that's the whole point and the origin of the word. Those are just some of the myths that I've heard, but I'm very curious to hear about maybe some that you've heard before. So feel free to comment below and let me know some myths about cosplay that you've heard. Until next time, happy cosplaying.